make sure the video came.
Hi, good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm Robin Marsh from News 9. We are so thrilled that you are here with us for our virtual coffee talk. Now, I know my partner, Lacey Lowry, has that coffee in hand. That girl drinks more coffee, I think, than anybody I know. Lacey, we're excited about the next hour. We've got some viewer questions and maybe a little behind the scenes right here at News 9.
Yeah, and it's all live, so who knows what's going to happen. I'm Lowry. Thanks for joining us. We're going to let you meet each of us individually and tell you a little bit about ourselves in case you don't know or just had always wondered. So I'll go first, and then we'll kind of do a round robin. A round robin. How about that?
All right.
Okay. My name's Lacey Lowry. I'm one of the co-anchors for News 9 this morning, and I'm from Dallas, Texas, actually Rockwall, but no one knows where that is. So Dallas, Texas, and grew up there. I'm one of 4 siblings. I went to college at Baylor, so every time there's an OU versus OSU thing, I've got no horse in the race. So I went to Baylor and I studied broadcast journalism. My first job was in West Texas in Abilene. My second job was in deep South Texas on the border with Mexico, like South Padre Island, Brownsville. I was there for a couple of years. Then I went to Tulsa. That's when I started working for Griffin Communications. And then I moved to Oklahoma City to our other Griffin Communications station. And now I'm here and I absolutely love it. All right, Robin, I think you're next.
All right. Hi, I'm Robin. I have been at News 9 for 25 years. And I'm from Lawton, Oklahoma. I'm an Army brat. My dad was in the military in Lawton. My whole family is in Lawton. And I always tell people that I went to UCLA to college, University of Cameron, Lawton area. So I started working at the TV station. The meteorologist was my creative writing teacher at Cameron. And so I was like, do they ever have any jobs at the TV station? And he was like, yeah, sure. So my first job was a glorified gopher. I got to drive the Action 7 news car in Lawton to go get dinner for all the on-air talent. And I thought it was so cool because I would drive that Chevy Chevette. Now, Colby, I don't even know if you know what a Chevy Chevette is, but it was this little bitty hoopty car. I'd go to Sonic and get everything and work my way up. I went to Amarillo for a while and then came to Oklahoma City in 1992. And then I've been at Channel 9 since 1995. I kind of say I'm the mom of the newsroom. And I love it. I love the news gathering process. It's telling people stories. I think we're all very passionate about that. And it's a trust that we don't take lightly. We love our jobs. And I think that's why we all get up very early and come to work, because we love it. So, okay, I know Jed's going to talk about what he's got going on. He's not here right now. So, Lacey, why don't you just jump in and tell us a little bit about you?
A video is the attack.
It is. And I am from Kiefer, Oklahoma, a teeny tiny small town.
One responded.
He's like, I guess.
I'm sorry. We're talking about news. I'm so sorry.
He's working. This is what happens. This is what happens in a news. Someone's trying to work. Someone else is trying to do something else. That's how it totally goes. I'm totally messing with you. It's totally fine. I'm from Kiefer, Oklahoma, a very small town. No one else knows where that is either. It's up by Tulsa. I went to the University of Oklahoma and got my degree in meteorology there. Absolutely amazing time in college to be right there at the National Weather Center, where we've got all the different government agencies and all the research going on with weather, not to mention the professors who write the books that are kind of world renowned were also my professors. Now we have started interning at News 9 back about 10 years ago now. I've been at Channel 9 for 8 years and absolutely love it. Best weather team in the world. And of course, Oklahoma is a mecca for severe weather. So that's why I love it. And the morning show hours are perfect for being a mommy, by the way.
Oh, there you go. How old is that baby now, Lacey?
She is 1. She's 14 months.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Blink. Speaking of having a baby, Mr. Colby's here. You've got a little boy, don't you, Colby?
That's right, I do. He's 17 months old, and
I don't know.
one more on the way. April 29th. Mark your calendars. It's going to be a ride. Oh, yeah. One on the way.
Breaking news.
April 29th. You learned it here first, folks.
Oh,
I hope my parents are watching because I haven't told them yet.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm Colby. I'm the newbie around here. My name's Colby Thielen. I anchor the 4 a.m. and I report as well at 5 and 6 a.m. And I am from Hendersonville, North Carolina. Went to school at Clemson University. Go Tigers. From there, I went to New York, where I worked a couple of years at CBS This Morning. I mostly got this for The Boss Man, and I ran these scripts to the anchors. That was pretty much my full job. From there, I started my on-air career. I worked in Charleston, South Carolina, before going to Indianapolis, and then moving here back in August. So, yeah, I'm a husband and dad, and soon to be dad of 2. And hey, things are great.
What do you love best about News 9, Colby?
There's no way to get around how great the people are here. I mean, and really, I know people always say that, but it's truly fantastic. The transition here, I couldn't have asked for anything better, really, anything better. People are so friendly and so helpful, and I so far love Griffin. It's just been a great place.
There's a lot happening behind the scenes here, as you guys can tell. We're actually talking about news and our coverage and some breaking news that we had, so I'm sorry about that. But Robin, I think we can get into some of the kind of behind the scenes shots and questions like that.
Oh, Lacey, why don't I just start? I might ask you even just first off the bat, like, tell us a little bit about, like, the viewer only sees like what comes out on the air. How many people really are working behind the scenes? Is it just a handful of people, or does it take a ton of people to make it all work?
It takes a ton of people. So I'm in the newsroom right now, and this is probably the least amount of people you'll see in the newsroom all day, because Dayside Shift is about to show up, and all of those desks are going to be filled right there. Just looking around right here. This is my current view. Hopefully you guys can see that.
Yeah.
So I would sit here to do some breaking news. I can see if we're missing anything on other networks, and I read that and address that camera right there. And in the control booth, that's a whole other group of a lot of folks that get us on the air and make us look great. And it takes a lot of people to get this stuff on the air. So yeah, it's a lot of organization behind the scenes for sure. A lot of people ask, is someone always talking in your ear? How do we communicate producers, Robin?
Well, we wear an IFB. I just took mine out, but I'll have it in when we do this live. We wear an IFB, and it is a way that people can talk to us. So sometimes we'll be reading a story live on the air, details about maybe a fire in Mustang, and then my producer is saying page 10 is dead, and I'm thinking, is page 10 next? Oh yeah, it is. And then Lacey might be telling me page 10's dead over here, writing me a note too. So we have a little trilogy box that we can actually, in breaks, we can talk with our producers and our directors as well. But that little IFB that we wear is just kind of like what you wear, you know, with your Apple earbuds in. It's just kind of similar to that, and where we can hear from our producers and stuff. And if we didn't have that lifeline, oh my gosh, things could go off the rails quickly, because sometimes there might be breaking news. I mean, Lacey, today we even had a breaking news story, and the script wasn't in, and they're telling, as I'm reading a story, they're telling you, Lacey, you got to do that breaking news update next. So sometimes, I mean, we rely on it so heavily to be able to communicate what's going on, even in a moment's notice.
Hey, you mentioned those AirPods, so let's go ahead and pop Colby up right here. He's chilling with the AirPods on this. Colby, what are some of the tricks that we play on each other behind the scenes, or what's something that maybe the viewers don't know is happening while we're live on the air?
Well, usually when we come live on air, we're, you know, in news mode, but once it goes to commercial break, there's a lot of in-sync singing. There was some Fleetwood Mac singing going on. There's sometimes dance parties on Friday. Phil Collins. Oh, that's always great in a commercial break, especially on Fridays. You should see Lacey Lowry cut loose. You guys, she can sing. She's got some pipes, and she lets it loose in the commercial break. So you don't see that very often. You know, and really, I think when we first get here in the mornings, the producers have been here overnight. So when I first arrive, they're wide awake. I'm usually half asleep. So they'll mess with me sometimes. But those are some of the scenes you don't see on camera that we're doing in commercial breaks or before we even go on there. That's always makes it a lot of fun.
Because we really actually like each other. That's probably the best part.
At least on Monday through Friday.
Yes, exactly. At least starting on Monday, maybe not by Friday. Okay, I want to talk to Swope for a second. Talk to us about some of the amazing tools and resources that you guys have to be some of the meteorologists.
What is so crazy about Oklahoma is the amount of storms and severe weather we had. This doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, and it requires a very large team of meteorologists. First of all, between our station and our sister station in Tulsa, we have the largest team of meteorologists really in the world. Our storm trackers, we've got our team here, and then our sister station has a team as well, and we collaborate on storm days, and you won't see that anywhere else in the state. We're the only ones that have a live dual pole radar. It's 1,000,000 watts. It's great that our parent company understands how important severe weather is and the coverage for that. What's very important is technology. And so we can usually have the latest and the greatest technology that's available, which is very, very important. So we have Next Gen Live, and I'll take you and I'll show you once they're not recording in the studio. Well, we have radar that we can zoom around, play with, and it's actually sitting right out front. It looks like a golf ball on a tee. That's one of my absolute favorite things. I'm a radar nerd. And so dialing that in, playing with that, cranking up the intensity, that's usually where you find me on a weather day, whether it's winter weather, severe weather, or just drizzle.
Lacey, I was going to ask you because how did you even get interested in weather and really knowing that you wanted to be a meteorologist? Did you ever feel like because you were a girl, maybe when you were growing up, did you see a lot of women that were on TV doing the weather forecast? And what made you think this is what I want to do?
Yeah, growing up, I didn't see any females on television giving the weather. I grew up watching the Tulsa market, and it wasn't until I was in college, I think, that I started to see a couple of females on television. And honestly, when I went into meteorology, it got me interested just because I'm from Oklahoma. I mean, I'm from the plains. Really, anyone up and down the plains, we all are very weather aware. Are very weather savvy. We know all the terms when we're 5 years old. Everyone knows what a cold front is, a dry line. You don't really find that in other places in the country. I just want to know why those things were happening. I was an avid hunter as a little kid. My dad would always take me out with him. And so I was out in the elements, and I wanted to know, why the temperature drops, why the winds pick up, why does the temperature drop right when the sun comes up? So I had all these questions and wanted answers to them. And the University of Oklahoma happens to have the best meteorology school in the nation. So I was just lucky enough to be accepted there. And from there, it was just kind of history. It just absolutely ate up with it. So all we do, all we talk about, all we think about is, what's going on outside and what's about to happen.
I love that.
I think one of the most common questions we get, aside from, our qualifications and how the newsroom works, is, do you guys do your own hair and makeup? Robin?
Well, normally I walk in with rollers in my hair in the morning. It is not a good look. And so, yes, no one wants to get up this early and come do our hair and makeup. There have been times before, like when we've done the afternoon shows, we would have some people might come in and do our hair or makeup. But for the most part, all of us here do all our own hair and makeup. So I might need to apologize today. This is not a good hair day. It's kind of windy and cold out there. But, it's a good thing in the morning. A lot of people are more listening than watching. So, we all... we don't take a lot of time to get ready. Most of us can get ready pretty quickly because we kind of cut it by just a little margin there. Sometimes.
Lacey, how long does it take you to curl your hair?
It depends on how much time I have.
Honestly, on a day-to-day basis, how long?
6 minutes?
Less.
No. Yeah.
2 minutes maybe. And then fluff it, tease it, and spray the heck out of it.
Jacket to Jesus, right?
Oh my gosh. But hey, speaking of makeup, Colby, do guys wear makeup? We get that question a lot. No one likes a shiny forehead though.
Exactly. We sure do. But it's pretty simple. I mean, guys' makeup, pretty basic. I use a little bit of concealer, under the eyes because at 4 a.m.
Thank you.
Let's just be real. You need it. And then, put some powder on, maybe a little bit of bronzer, and you head in. I of course, didn't before working in news. So before I left New York, I just grabbed one of the makeup artists and was like, hey, can you just show me what the heck I'm doing for like 2 seconds? And they were nice enough to do that. I will say that just because I'm not used to wearing makeup very often, that I will leave it on longer than you're supposed to. And I've been at the gym before, like sweating, and I got like makeup running down my face. Yeah, so that's what I have to learn. How to take it off.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Jed, you got a little shiny spot right there. He'll go pat on
right there.
the powder.
Hey, I'm gonna kind of rat out my Lacey's here because it seems like every day you girls have had the same colors on. Like I noticed Lacey Swope was in a blue dress, Lowry was in a blue dress, then you were in a red dress, and then you both had black on. Now, was this like coordinated or no?
No, completely on accident. Lacey always wears it better anyways. No, I don't coordinate. If you looked in my closet, it's a lot of bold colors. And so I walk into my closet every morning running late and I say, I feel like, and I'll just grab one. And Lacey and I have the same wavelength lately because I'll show up, she's already on the air and I'm like, dang it, I got the same color on as her. But no, we don't coordinate.
And I don't play my outfits out. I think a lot of people get asked that question a lot if our outfits are planned out for the week. Definitely I don't. And sometimes I'll have a dress that I'll think, I'm going to wear that in the morning. Then I get up and I'm like, I'm not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it.
Pants it is.
But we also know Robin Marsh's secret. She likes to wear Ugg boots behind the scenes and flippy flop.
Yeah, Mama got a little.
You have it on today.
Got this one today. Oh my gosh. You should have seen it today because Lacey is a lot taller than me and I am short. And so the cam ops, I have to stand on a box even if I have heels on. Then they bring out this huge box for me to stand on. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm actually taller than Lacey. Let's just put the little one down and I'll stand on my tippy toes. So it was kind of funny today. We had a lot of fun.
They
with it.
actually made you taller than me. So the other part that makes our shift really unique is the hours that we work. Our team is scattered out basically starting at 10 p.m. the night before all the way through. I think the last person probably arrives by 4 a.m. The producers come in 10 p.m. the night before. They put the shows together. They're looking at what news we're going to cover for the day, how to write it, how to present it. Then we come in and we take a look at it. We put it on the air and you guys finally see it at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. But as far as home life, before we even get there, what are the sleep patterns for you guys? When do you sleep? Colby?
Well, not much. I will say that. I usually have a goal every day of being in bed by 7 because my alarm goes off at 2 a.m. It just doesn't happen. In fact, my 1.5-year-old goes to bed sometimes after me. Like that's how early I go to bed. It doesn't happen often. Usually he ends up keeping me up. So it's kind of 8, sometimes 9 o'clock. It's rough. It's rough. You don't sleep much on these shifts, but it's good on the other side of it.
Yes,
you have your afternoons. Yeah.
Lacey Swope, I was going to ask you, has there ever been a time that you've done almost every show from morning to night because of severe weather coming through?
I've been, yes, multiple times. That I've at least been here. If I haven't been the one giving the weather, I'm here. Say Cassie's doing the noon and I did the morning. I'm here getting stuff ready, helping her so she can, weather doesn't care what the clock says. It's going to happen whether it's 1 a.m., 4 p.m., midnight, it doesn't matter. So we just kind of try to stagger our schedules. But sometimes if it's severe enough or the winter weather is bad enough and the roads are bad enough that, we're all here sometimes for 12 hours. I know one time I did the morning show, went home, took a nap, came back, was here for the 4, 5, 6, and 10. And then our team was here until the morning show started the next day. That was the longest shift. And it's really fun whenever you're on at 4 a.m. in the morning and then the next 4 a.m. shift, you're wearing the same clothes.
Oh my gosh.
That
do you ever have to sleep at the station?
I have done that a handful of times. Yes.
Okay.
Usually it's for winter weather is what it is because, you don't want to chance the fact that you can't get to the station. And the reality of it is we have to be here. And so, if that means that if the roads are going to get dicey and I don't know if I'll make it, then I will sleep here. We have a couch. It's kind of a futon. It feels more like a church pew. And we sometimes will put it out. I put it in our garage. So I have slept the few hours that you can get while David Payne's on air in here. I don't know if you've ever tried to sleep while David's in the next room, but it's a little tricky. But I've napped some at the station for sure.
Yeah. Our station also, they'll book a hotel room for us close to the station in case traveling to and from your house is dangerous on icy morning or maybe flooding is preventing you from getting home. Really quick, one job I did have to sleep at the station. It was that job down on the U.S. Texas-Mexico border.
Robin, can I help you?
And that was because Hurricane Dolly, Lacey, back in 2008, I think.
Can you call Caitlin
And
Ogle?
our TV station.
Okay, I'll go make sure she'll answer, okay?
Business in a huge area, including where my house was, that had power because the hurricane knocked everything out. So they just brought in pots. We literally slept at the station. So I've done that one time in my career.
We do what we have to do.
I know.
Yeah.
Rob,
We all have kind of a life outside of work as well. And we all have different things that we do. I'm an adjunct professor at OU and love helping young broadcasters who are kind of thinking about entering this world. So I go down there a couple of days of the week. They're real flexible. If there's breaking news here, News 9 obviously is my first priority, but I love doing that. But what about you guys? Like what do you do outside of work that folks would like to hear about?
I love hunting and fishing and just really the outdoors. For me, it's almost therapeutic just to kind of clear your head. Obviously, there's different times of year that I do different things. But I think people already knew that I did that. Other thing that people don't know was my pandemic project is I started working on my yard and my flower garden. And I'll bring pictures so that we can add it because I'm really impressed. I didn't kill very many of those flowers this year. Couldn't go do much socially distancing. Everything was closed. So I said, I'm just going to start seeing if I can grow things and not kill them for once in my life. So I love working in my garden now. I might try some vegetables later. I know Lacey grows some veggies in her backyard. So that's probably my newest hobby is.
I love that.
I guess, yeah. What about you, Colby?
Well, with the little free time I have these days, it feels like I like to do athletic things. You know, if there's ever a pickup game, basketball or football, I'm in. I like to do weightlifting. I play a little guitar as well. And that's pretty much how I spend any free time that I get. I will say that I'm a very avid karaoke, if that is such a description. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, guys. The pandemic has really shuttered the karaoke industry. It's an
He blesses
unsung
us
story.
with it in commercial breaks.
It is yes, yeah. But, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to the most when this coronavirus is behind.
I don't know why, but one of the most surprising things for me about you, Colby, was I love rock and roll. Like, he's so in like hardcore rock. And I was like, that just doesn't match up. And you're like, God.
Everybody's so surprised
I don't
by
know
that.
why,
Maybe
but it did.
I don't know. I got a little range in
Lacey
there.
Swope, talk to us about what it's like working this shift, having this job with a baby, a new mom. You got a 1-year-old. What's that like?
I feel like as parents, just in general, you adapt. So I don't think it matters what the schedule is. It's always hard to be away from them no matter what the hours are. I will say, having worked multiple different schedules in the TV business, the morning shift is by far the best as far as family life goes for me. It works the best for me, my husband, and for little baby Brooklyn. Being pregnant on this shift, I wouldn't really recommend that to anybody. But whenever after the baby was here, it's awesome to actually get off work early in the morning. I get home. She's either going down for her first nap or she hasn't gone down yet. I haven't missed anything but breakfast, really. And then I get to spend all day with her. So I absolutely love it. I'm all for it. And I put her down early and then I'm like, well, might as well go to bed myself. So it kind of works perfectly for now.
Got to get that little nap in. I love those afternoon naps. They're like,
and with her, oh man, you're so cuddly and snuggly. Sleep so good.
That's time, sister. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe we should talk about like some of the stories that we've covered before that are memorable to us, or, you know, I mean, when you're in the business for a long time, like all of us have been, I mean, there are people who touch our lives and we touch their lives, and they're just some people that you'll never forget. And I think we all have had that. I know for me, covering the Oklahoma City bombing, of just relationships that I have even to this day, 25 years after the fact, that, you know, you'll never forget. And, you know, if someone says, what's the most important story that you've done? I always say the next one. And I love telling people's story. Next week, I'll be interviewing the McGuire family, and who lost their home in Oklahoma City. I mean, Lacey, we were on for how many hours that day with the breaking news when their home on the northeast side exploded. It happened right. We got off the air and the phone started ringing, and we knew something horrific had happened. And Lacey and I jumped right on the air, and you know, it was devastating for the McGuire family. And so to me, that's the most important story, is the one that I'm working on next. They lost their daughter, and they'll lay her to rest next week. And you know, that someone trusts you to tell something that has just overwhelmed their whole life, that they trust you to do that and tell that story in the right way. I mean, it's just a trust that we don't take lightly. There have been a lot of fun stories that we've done. There have been rodeos I've been able to ride in and carry the Channel 9 flag and didn't fall off the horse, and I was so grateful for that. And so it's so neat that it's kind of like, the longer you've been in the business, the more things that you get to do. And, you know, some are tough, some are fun. And I think that's what kind of keeps us going. It's kind of like the next story coming for us.
I think the most memorable one for me was actually at the start of my career. And it was a very sad story. It was when I was in West Texas, there was a drive-by shooting, and a car shot up the entire front side of a house and sped off. And the parents ran outside. What's going on? Who did that? and they thought everything was okay. And then they went to check on the 4-year-old daughter in her bedroom, and she had been struck by one of the bullets, and she had died in bed right there. And it was heartbreaking. The whole town really got behind the search for who these gunmen were. And I got a tip one night to go to the police station, and they had arrested the guys that shot up the house. And it was a strange moment where, and maybe they did it on purpose. One officer stayed, another officer said, "I forgot my keys, hang on." And I just started asking the suspects questions, and they admitted to it right there, and they said no one was supposed to get hurt. This was never supposed to happen. We're so sorry. And it was an awful story all the way around. They ended up getting sentenced to about 30 years in prison. They used my interview video in the trial. And what that taught me, the whole thing, was there's a person, there's a face, there's a family behind every story that we cover. Every crime story, there's a victim, there is several people affected by it. Really make you realize that every story, like you said, Robin, is important because there's a person behind it. There's a face to that story. And so I keep that with me. Yes, there's fiction, yes, there's facts, but about the person or all the people this affects. Colby, what about you? Sorry, not Colby, sorry. Lacey, what about you?
Weather-wise, weather events, I feel like every single time a tornado touches down, it's significant. It's something really weird about being a meteorologist where you remember those dates, you remember those towns, you can remember the footage, exactly what that tornado looks like. So I don't know that anyone's stands out too much. I will say the Shawnee Bethel Acres tornado followed then the very next day by the EF5 tornado that went through Moore. And then a few short days later, the El Reno tornado, all back in 2013. That whole series of events was one of the most significant. I was very young in my career, and that was the first time that I think I was tracking it. I was so into the radar, I was so into the data, so into this debris ball, and then the footage comes up, and I think it was Carl Torp that was walking through the devastation, showing the elementary school, showing the parents digging, trying to find their kids, and that was the first time in my career that I realized what that debris ball that I've been staring at, I had been researching what that actually was, and that was right here in my home state. It was right there impacting the people. I know that had happened numerous times, but in my career, that was the first time that I was just like, oh my gosh, that is what was flying in the air. That's what I was seeing. And just, it was a huge connection and kind of wake up moment for me. And it was almost soul crushing at the time, the devastation that you feel, but I've carried that with me every time. When like you said, there's a human behind that, there's a face behind that, someone's property is being ripped up, and just, remembering that and realizing that when you're staring at the screen that's got a bunch of bright colors on it, that's what's actually happening in reality. So those events. And then there was a time, as far as a fun story goes, Jim Gardner, I don't know how or why, got me connected with one of his buddy pilots, and just that I had to go with him over to, what's the airport over there? Not Will Rogers. What'd you say?
Wiley Post.
Yes, Wiley Post.
And they had a trick plane this guy had built. I found out once I was in it, he had built it himself. And Jim was like, you got to go fly with this guy. And so I did. And I almost hurled all over his entire plane, but we did all kinds of crazy tricks in this plane. I got down and landed, and I was white as a ghost and, sweating out pores I didn't know I had. And Jim Gardner's like, yeah, I thought that was going to be fun. So that's one of the craziest things I've done.
Hey, Colby, what's one of the most memorable moments or stories? What sticks out to you in your career?
The first time that I walked into Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, where the church shooting happened, the Emanuel, and we went there for a service, and after the service, they were doing interviews with the new pastor down in the basement of the church, which is where this shooting actually happened. And I hadn't seen at that point the photographs, which I later would cover in the trial of Dylan Roof there in Charleston. But just walking into the room, it was a really bizarre feeling. And like we were talking about earlier, seeing the survivors that were still there, still worshiping at the church, and thinking about how they forgave him in the courtroom there after the shooting, or at his first hearing. So there was that whole, just covering that for almost 2 years was, it was emotionally hard every single time. And I went to the church after that numerous times, but I would never forget the feeling of walking inside there, where everything happened. But on a lighter note, there've also been a lot of really fun moments. Certainly got to meet a lot of people, including heroes. When I was at CBS this morning, they did an interview with the famous guitarist Jimmy Page, who was the guitarist of Led Zeppelin. And I think I don't know how I begged or something. They took me with them. And just the nicest guy in the world, autographed some of my albums and talked to me. He told me that the guy that was on the cover of Led Zeppelin 4, he told me that his name was Alistair Colby. I don't know if that's true, but it was a great moment for me.
You were nerding out, huh?
I was. It certainly was. Yeah. Trying not to show it.
Oh, hey, Robin, what do you think are some things that maybe people at home don't know or don't realize about what we do, how we do it, what's going on?
Oh, I think, I think when I watch people on TV, I think their world is perfect. And our worlds are far from perfect. I mean, all of us are in different times and different seasons of our lives. I have a 20-year-old son at OU who's in a fraternity. So if you're a parent, that can worry you and you have sleepless nights over that. I have an 89-year-old mom who is facing some challenges as well. So I'm kind of in that sandwich generation. And it's like, I was crying in front of Lacey yesterday because of some things with my mom. And that's what's so neat about our group. I don't know why I'm going to tear up now.
Oh, it's okay, Rob.
Sorry. I won't do this next week. I'm so sorry. But it's like, it just sometimes they're just, stresses that we rely on each other a lot. And we kind of love hard and fight hard and play hard and like family does. And so, I think that that's the thing is that our lives are not perfect, that we all have struggles and that, we're just real people too. We're just we've just been placed in a unique position with our jobs that are more visible and we love it. That's why we do it. And it is kind of crazy hours. And I think you kind of have to be a little crazy to be in TV news because it's a lot of hard work. We miss a lot of holidays sometimes and you have to stay late, come in early and smile and hope your hair looks good. And so I think that's for me, it's a family away from family, and I'm grateful for that. But I think people at home sometimes, it's like you see people on TV, and it's like, Lacey, you have the prettiest eyes, and it's like people always think, oh my gosh, she looks perfect every day, and it's like, oh my gosh, they only just saw what went on behind the scenes, trying to get out there and get on time.
She's like, Lacey Lowry's still putting her makeup on throughout the show. What are you talking about? And that's one thing is we don't take ourselves too seriously. Probably my most embarrassing moment would be when I said farts on television, right here on News 9.
So,
I was
so much conviction. You owned it too.
I did own it. I punched those words. I was trying to say, I think it was Walmart fights crime. But what came out at 5:17 in the morning was Walmart farts. That's a true story. And what we do, we had to laugh about it because it was funny. So that's probably my most embarrassing. And then Robin, yours made it all the way to Jimmy Fallon's top 4 bloopers in the nation.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I own porn pirates, let me tell you. And what was so wild, I was like, police in Phoenix are tracking down porn pirates. And then I didn't even realize I said it. And Lacey's like, porn pirates. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. And I walked off the set. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't even believe it. And then I was at home and my husband, I went to bed early. It was like a Friday night. And my husband comes in and he goes, oh my gosh, you were just on Jimmy Fallon. And I was like, what did I do? And he's like, porn pirates, it's haunting you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I made the top 4 blooper. So now, it's crazy.
I love it.
Every time I read a porn pirate story, I get so nervous. I have to think, do not say porn pirate.
Oh, and hopefully that's what endears us to all of you folks. I think we have some viewer questions. You want to get to them?
Yep. Okay. Oh, you want me to ask? Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Am I asking them?
Yeah, that top one. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Lacey Lowry.
Thanks.
Advice for high school
Here we go. This kind of happens every day. I go off script and Lacey has to kind of steer me back on script. Right, Lace?
We do it to each other. Okay. So advice for high school students.
Sorry.
I would say if you think you want to get involved or you're at least interested, contact your local TV station and see if you can come job shadow for a day. You could also call it an internship, but typically internships are more than just one day. I would say just go for one day, job shadow, whatever they're willing to let you do. And a lot of people say, well, I'll just job shadow everything. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. So what do you think that interests you the most? And if it's weather, then see if a meteorologist will let you job shadow them and see what the process is like. If it's a reporter in the newsroom, ask that. If it's producing and writing scripts and building stories and newscasts, see if you can job shadow. Past high school, I would say actually in college, get the internship. You're working for free. Most TV stations will take that. And you can really get a feel for, do I want to do this? Or, hey, I want to do this. That would probably be my best advice for folks, is to get in the newsroom and see if you really like it, because it can be exactly what you want or not at all what you were thinking.
And I think too, if you think just because it's like being on TV and people would know your name or people might recognize you and that's why you want to do it, you will not last. I mean, it's something that you have to really be very passionate about. I work with a lot of college students, and I do think you need a degree. If you're in high school and you're thinking about it, you need a degree. You need to take every writing course that is available for you to take. And, no one's going to push for you. It's not just going to come and be handed to you on a silver platter. You have to, like Lacey was saying, really apply for those internships, get your reel to look really good, and where a news director would notice you and stuff. So there are people there that can help you. But I mean, Lacey Swope, I think that's kind of one thing. It has to be something like in your spirit that you've got to love it to do it.
And you may not know exactly what it is. It's very similar in meteorology. In high school, I personally absolutely love, one of my favorite parts of my career is meeting with high school students, doing a job shadow. Another reason why I hate COVID. We haven't been able to do that, but I love it. I love having, I had that. I had people that I could ask questions to, and without that, I definitely would not be where I am in my career. So ask questions, see what it's like. It's probably not what you think. I personally had no desire to be on television whatsoever up until my senior year of college. That was not what I wanted to do. And I got an internship that I fell into from a friend here at News 9. And I came in and worked with Gary England, and I was like, this is what you guys do? This isn't what I thought at all. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And so you don't know, or you may walk in. I've had college students come in and they're like, this is not what I thought. I don't want to do this. So you don't know until you kind of walk in someone else's shoes of exactly what they do. And that's what a job shadow or an internship allows you to do. If you're in high school, it is all about calculus. It is all about math and science classes. A lot of people don't realize that in meteorology, it's nothing but atmospheric physics and calculus that you do. You actually graduate when you get your meteorology degree with a degree in math as well, because of how much math that you have. So pay attention to those classes. Now, if you go to a small school or you're homeschooled and maybe your math isn't quite up to what you think it should be, I would post your child for that. When I started college, I had education up to trigonometry, and the degree starts at Calc 1. So I was already behind. It just has to be, you're right. It has to be something you love in order to stick it out, because you're not going to go through those classes if you don't absolutely love it.
Colby, I want to ask you a question really quick. A lot of the stories that we cover are very heavy. The details can be overwhelming, and sometimes we can't even report everything. How do you keep your sanity? How do you keep it from overwhelming you?
Not cry every night. Yeah.
Yeah, it is tough. It is tough. You mentioned earlier the home explosion. I know that was hard on just about everybody here at the station. And I was out in the field in the aftermath of that, and it was tough. And to be honest with you, it stuck with me a lot of the day. I think for me, it's just trying to, when I get home, look at what I have. And, when I look at my son, Reese, it's a good humbling reminder to be so thankful for every moment that you have. Yeah. And I think in some regard that helps me sort of leave behind the really negative stories that we do. Honestly, sometimes it's prayer, just getting through with prayer. And in other days, it's just trying to remind myself that we have so many blessings. And I think that is a good reminder. And it also keeps you humble.
Absolutely. Robin, what have you been doing to stay busy during quarantine?
Well, I've kind of been starting a project. I really haven't shared it with anybody, but I've been dabbling in, I've written 2 books for teen girls, and I've started outlining and have written a couple of chapters on a new book that I'm hoping to maybe get published. I don't really know. I don't even know if I should say the title of it or not. And I don't even know why I'm really even sharing this, because maybe it's going to hold me more accountable to make sure I get it done. But I'm calling it the F word, forgiveness.
Awesome.
That it sounds like a 4-letter word, and it leads to a 4-letter word, free. How forgiving people can really free your own heart. And so I'm excited about that. You know, I think my wheels are always turning about projects and things. So I also, and Lacey, I know this is crazy, but Lacey Lowry got me hooked on Netflix, and then I started watching this Home Edit on Netflix. And if you haven't watched it, it's really pretty good. And it's about like getting your home organized. And it's like, I think every drawer in my house
about it all the time.
Like, once you start, it's like addicting, isn't it, Lacey? I mean, it's so crazy.
I got you
realize how messy all your stuff is.
Hooked on Netflix, and then you got me hooked on the Home Edit, which is the show on Netflix you're talking about. So I've been going through my stuff, donate it, get rid of it, toss it, organize. Yep. That's a good thing from the pandemic for me was, okay, gotta get my crap organized. Yeah.
I know. I think that's the one thing that is hard is we really haven't gone out. Oh, go ahead. All right. Colby, I'm going to start with you about what some of your favorite activities are in Oklahoma. You've only been here a little while, but I know that you and your family have been around. You might even tell that funny story about the first time you went to the zoo with little Reese. That was kind of funny. What happened to you guys?
Oh, yeah. He loves the zoo. And so far, the Oklahoma City Zoo, we love it, too. It's been great. That's one of our favorite places. When I first tried to go, the very first day, we'd been planning it like all week. I thought, you know, he'll nap first, then we'll take him. But he wouldn't nap, just refused to nap. So I was like, all right, we'll just go ahead and go. And maybe he can nap after. Well, as soon as I pulled in the parking lot, I mean, it was as soon as I pulled in, I looked in the rearview mirror and sure enough, he was passed out. And I wasn't going to wake him, that's for sure. So we turned around and went home.
Oh, that's so cool. Lacey Swope, what about you? I know that you love the outdoors. What are some of your favorite places in Oklahoma?
Honestly, I love to get out kind of as far away from the city as possible when I have time. That's my absolute favorite thing to do. So once I get out away from the city, to go out as far away from population as possible and find a tree or a blind, that's when I do the most thinking. I feel like that's when I'm the most creative. That's when I feel just the most myself and I can just kind of let everything go. That's my absolute favorite thing to do. So there's a lot of good forests in Oklahoma. Either that or, you know, even if it's just going for a walk or getting outside, that's my favorite thing. The area lakes. I don't have a favorite place because it's so unique. Oklahoma, it's so diverse as far as the geography is concerned. So I love the big salt plains. I love the desert dryness when you get out into southwestern Oklahoma. And of course, the Kiamichi Mountains down to the southeast. I love it all.
There you go. There's nothing like a Mears burger either. Down
no, man.
the Wichita Mountains.
And there,
Lacey, I know you love to fish and all that. What about you? Where's your favorite spot in Oklahoma?
Well, just outdoors, honestly, not inside my house. But I was just sitting here thinking, probably the newest thing in my life would be I got a second dog, and I thought all of us are dog people. Did you just realize that?
Oh my gosh,
all 5 of us are dog people. So yeah, I thought I would be really great and foster a dog so I could start fostering, and then I adopted him. So he's a foster fail, and I'm not going to foster anymore because I already have 2 dogs now. So that's like my newest adventure is.
So what's his name, Lacey?
His name is Andy. He's a dog, which is funny because the rescue named him. But when I talk about him, people think I'm talking about a person. So, you know, I'm like, I've got to go home and bathe Andy and then might go walking with him later. And I'm like, it's my dog. It's not my kid.
We need to show when we do this next week, all our dogs. That would be hilarious.
I was thinking we could get pictures.
That would be so great. Okay. I know Jed's going to be a big part of it, and he's not here with us today, so I know that'll take up some more time. But
yeah,
maybe just a final thought from all of us, just kind of in a round robin of just, I don't know, what's on your heart today. Maybe it is about work and what you love about it, or just where you are in life, or just a final note even to the people watching and just how grateful we are for them. So Colby, why don't you start?
I'm just very thankful to for how welcoming people have been here at News 9, our neighbors where we live, and just really everywhere we go. I mean, it's a great thing about Oklahoma is that people are so friendly and so welcoming. And me and my wife, Wheezy, and my son, Reese, we're all just very thankful for that.
I love your wife's name, Wheezy. I love that.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
Short for Louise. There you go.
Yeah, short for Louise. Sorry, I didn't know if there was a delay there or if I was supposed to say something on the side.
I love you.
I'll go next really quickly. Just a reminder to everyone watching. We're your neighbors. We go to the same schools and churches and grocery stores as you. So I know sometimes that it's easy to not like the media, but I would just ask that you look at us as your neighbors, because all the things that we're reporting on affect us as well. And we're right here in Oklahoma. We're right down the street. We're not off at some big building in New York City or Atlanta or something. So just keep in mind that when you're watching us, that's the real us. Whatever happens live is what happens, and we're all in this together.
And I will say, since we are, we're your neighbor, all of those things, if you wouldn't say it to your neighbor and you wouldn't say it to your mama or your grandma, it's probably not appropriate to say to us on social media.
I like that.
No, but I will. Viewers are great, and the majority are absolutely fantastic, and we love you guys so much. I am so excited about winter weather because by the time we do this, we'll be tracking freezing rain, and sleet, and a little snow. And I'm all about that.
That sounds good. One thing I think that the pandemic has maybe taught all of us is to, it's easy to focus on what you don't have. And Colby, you kind of said that we have to be mindful of what we do have, and we all have things to be grateful for. So I think today, we're grateful for you guys watching right now, and that we're grateful that you trust us every morning, that you turn on the TV and feel like we're family with you, and that we can kind of let you in our lives a little bit. We love hearing about your lives with the pictures you send us. And then, when things are tough, it's I think of that saying, when people get married, it's like your joys are doubled and your sorrows are halved. And I hope that we maybe bring that to you guys as you're watching us every day on the news. So, hey, thanks so much for chiming in with us, man. We've been on for almost an hour, and you guys are the best. I always said we always have the best social media friends, and thanks so much. Lacey, on a final note, remind folks when we're on the air.
I was going to say, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow morning starting at 4 a.m. But right now, I think all of us go take a nap because we have weird
All right.
Signing off.
Bye, guys.